Okay, so this is a video for the makeup of the live for What You Want to Know Wednesday. So I'm just answering questions. However, it isn't live, so if you post a question, I can answer it later on, or I can answer it in another video. Please like and share this video. It really means a lot to me if you can kind of get it out there. It really is important to the business and why we sit out here and do this stuff. So the first question was, how do I get my horse to soften? So it's a 4-year-old horse, and she said that it still feels like a Greenbroke horse in the face, that it's broke and it's doing fine. It's just she's changed bits, she's gone up in bit, she's tried different things, she's tried side pulls and hackamores, and the horse is still pretty heavy in the bridle. So this is a hard question because it's a series of things that you would do. And not to plug my program, but the whole reason why I did the online program the way that I did it was so that people would do the series, so it wouldn't be so hard, or we're trying to answer questions in the middle or whatnot. But I'm going to show you kind of what the series are, what I would do. I might not be able to teach it thoroughly, but if you see like, oh yeah, Brandy, that's the hole I'm missing, and then you say, I want to know more about that exercise, then I'll put more about it. Okay, so the first rule that I make with a horse, right, is I do what I call the Wesson lesson. And I'm going to make her move, but the rule is that she can't pull on me, right? So she can't, get my hands straight here, get moving, right? The rule is she can't pull on me. If she pulls on me, then I'm going to take and I'm going to pull that hip, and then as I pull the hip, then I get after the shoulders, I make the shoulders change directions, right? So that at least they learn not to pull, right? Right there, I feel like she's pulling. Get your shoulders over. Don't pull on me. So I'm not like lunging. I don't want her just to travel around me. I'm trying to teach her not to pull. And this horse has already got this, so it's not like she's going to pull. Like right there, she kind of did. Pull the hip, turn the shoulder. So that's the first thing that I teach. Don't pull on me. Then I'll go through and I'll do my bridle work, which bridle work is a ground exercise that teaches them what the bridle means. So typically I'll have a dressage whip in my hand. I'll ask them to walk. The very first thing I do, is I say, move your hip. Now, if you notice, I'm not one time I haven't really gotten through this exercise yet, but I don't really talk to that mouth. I talk to the body, right? If I get the body to listen to me correctly, the mouth should lighten up on its own. So again, first thing I'm going to do, send her forward, right? In bridle work, I'm up here. I pick up this rein. I'm going to hold just like I would. I'm going to disengage that hip, and then I'm going to ask her to go forward. So I have a series of the things that I ask during bridle work. I ask for the hip to disengage. I then get the back feet to back up. I work on the front feet stepping away from me, like on a diagonal. I work on drop the head, right? So there I pick up the rein and I can ask that horse to drop its head. I ask those shoulders to move, right? And I ask the hip. So those are the things I teach on the ground, right? So the first thing, don't pull on me. And then I teach, give me your body parts. If she starts pulling on me when I'm in the, trying to get the body parts, I have that ability to go back and say, hey, don't pull. Then I will climb on, right? So I make sure I have that. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my left rein, and I'm going to start bumping my left leg, right? Just enough. And I'm going to kind of push that hip out to the right, but I'm going to keep bumping my leg and holding my hand until I see that nose kind of react. And then I'm going to walk forward. Then I'm going to pick up my right rein. I'm going to bump my right leg until right there, that mouth softens and relaxes. And I pick up my left rein, left leg, until I see that that mouth responds. I don't care what her body's doing, except for I want forward, hip out, forward, hip out. So then my left leg kept bouncing until the mouth gave. When she got into that, spin type deal, I kicked her with both legs to get her back going forward. And then I just put my leg right back on. So now right rein, right leg. And I'm just going to wait until that mouth responds. Now, you don't want to start pulling really hard. Just take the slack out of the rein. And then your leg does the work, right? Your leg says, hey, you should hurry up and figure out what I'm trying to get you to do. So then the leg actually will soften that mouth, and you're not getting into just pulling and pulling and pulling. Once I have that, then I do the draw, which is just one of my base fundamentals of guiding the horse. So I'll be in the middle of the reins. I'll then take my hand slightly to the left. My elbow will come up. My wrist will come down. And what happens is the reins, like I pull slightly more on the left rein than the right rein. But because of that, the left rein will keep the nose over to the left. The right rein comes up around this, on this neck. And then I wait until I feel those front feet come over and they get in between my reins. Then I'll go the other direction. Right hand, slide a little bit down, elbow up, wrist down, neck rein on, nose rein, keeps the nose over here. I'm going to hold until I feel those front feet come over. And I'm kind of doing it dramatically, and the horse already knows it. But you're wanting to feel the front feet just come over. So in the beginning, it might look like this, right? You might pick up and they might kind of circle, right? They might not listen to you quite right. They might even start backing up, right? I know. They might start doing all of this, and then all of a sudden they'll take a step like that, and then you release and walk off, right? Until you want to get it good enough that as soon as you start going in that position, right, these shoulders come over. And you don't have to work hard. You're not having to use it leg or anything like that. Now, in the beginning, if you need leg, use it. Use whatever you need to get the job done, but get it done well enough that you don't need a whole lot of force or a whole lot of help. Once I have that, then I start doing a directional control circle, which means that I want to teach them to stay on my line of my circle. And if they leave the line, right, then I'll drum and like, let's say, so here's my line right here. Let's say she kind of ventures out here to the right. I'll let her leave the circle, and then I'll draw her. Say, now you have to circle even tighter to the left. Now you have to work even harder. And then I'll say, okay, now get back to the circle. Once I do that a few times, then what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to start going, okay, I'll be on my circle, and I'll start just like drawing her over and then making her go. Now you think, well, Brandy, how is this going to help lighten up the horse? Because I am working on the body and the shoulders, and I don't care about the head, what is going to end up happening is that the horse's mouth will you'll start seeing that they just start staying down. They start staying in. They're not pulling on you as much. They're just not, they're kind of like what she is. Like, she's not collected, right, by any stretch of the imagination. But if I pick up and I move that shoulder, see how that nose will just kind of soften and come in? So it gets me out of like picking up and trying to soften the face and then releasing and letting it pop up. Because if you do that too much, you'll create the yo-yo, right? So I play with that. I then do also I call it fly time, which is where you do pick up both reins. You hold until that nose kind of comes and breaks at the pole. And then you release. You do that, until you can do it at the walk, while walking, at the stop, and then while you say to go. Then once you get that, then you come back and you do the frame, right? So framing is on a directional control circle. I'll get the break at the pole, and then I don't pull any more than that. I then add my legs, right, to add energy to the horse, but I don't let her leave her nose until I feel those withers come up, and the withers in the neck are going to soften that mouth, right? So by asking her to frame and get that frame up, Get that, the neck will soften, and then the mouth will soften. So like I said, it's a big old series of steps, big old series of exercises, but that is, you know, uh, kind of how I go about it. So let me know which one of those would make more sense to you, and I'll send you a video on um, explaining that exercise better. Okay, so the next question was, does loud music distract horses? Some, right? So there's the gunner breds that are actually deaf, right? Well, not going to distract them. It's all in what distracts that horse. So can loud music distract a horse? Why, sure. Just like anything. What you want to think about when thinking about training and distractions and all of that is just making sure that even though your horse gets distracted, gets spooked, gets worried, that you know that you can pick up the rein and you can get the body to listen to you. You might not get the mind, but you can get the body. If you can get that, first, you can stay safe. Second, then you can use the body part that builds confidence, which is the shoulders. So if your horse is being distracted by loud music, by umbrellas, by whatever, then you teach the horse's shoulders to become more confident. And pretty soon, you do enough emotional work, like it gets almost impossible to get a horse worried about things or distracted by things, or they're just like so in tune with you that they don't even, well, you become their leader. You become their person that they go, like you become their mom or dad that they just trust, and they just know that you'll forever take care of them. So I have that in the emotional program where I do all these different exercises of building emotions, putting enough in, then taking them out, putting more in, taking them out, putting more in, taking them out. And then pretty soon it just gets to the point where by the end of the program, it's impossible to put emotions in your horse. All right. So then the next question was, how does she get a slower, more relaxed lope? She's like, I'm just so tired of holding on and holding them back. Again, this is a question that has a lot of series of steps, and it really does. It's hard to explain in a short period of time, especially in a Facebook video where everybody has about 13-second, attention span. But the slow, more comfortable lope, I'm just going to give you the last type of thing. And if you don't have enough of this type of work, then we have to break it down and you just have to let me know. So, I'll do a couple. Like, let's do a basic one. If I ask my horse to lope off and it's 1 mile an hour faster than I want, or they race, you can do two things, right? You can either pick up and disengage that hip, right? Come on, as soon as it's too fast, and then ask for the lope again, right? So pick up or ask for the lope. If it's too fast, then pick up and say, hey, that's too fast, right? By disengaging the hip, you're actually calming the horse down. And you're taking like the rush out of it. And when you take the rush out of it for a horse, they just get slower and slower. So that's like on them, that's holding them accountable and helping them with their emotions. Another one is ask the horse to lope, right? And again, this is about correcting. We don't want to ever micromanage, and I surely don't want to hold her back, right? Ever. So as soon, like I'm going to release, and as soon as it's too fast, right? Which might be that very first stride. You can also come in and you can do what we call inside rein, inside foot, which is a relaxing exercise, and it kind of softens up their rib cage. So it's just walk in a small circle, ask that head to drop. I call this because they kind of go into a trance, and I call it giving them like a Xanax pill without all the bad stuff of pills. All right, then ask the horse to lope. And again, you feel like it's too fast, it's emotional, it's anything, you just break them down with the one rein, walk in a small circle, get them super relaxed here where they go into a trance, which that's in its own exercise. But walk in a small circle, they'll put their head all the way down, they'll keep their head down there. You'll actually feel them start to, like, she's still distracted, she's still thinking about other stuff, she's not actually in the trance. but it would probably take her about 2.5 minutes to get there. But she keeps her head down there. You would feel the horse like go, and they kind of go to sleep. And then at that point, ask the horse to lope. And again, same thing. All right, now, if those are kind of like the basic ones, and that's just helping with the horse's mind and emotions. Now, to help like the horse is emotionally fine, the head's down, she's just faster. Well, then what we're going to work on is our outside rein, right? So our inside rein is going to talk to the nose. Our outside rein is going to pull this shoulder and this hip back, and it's going to slow the left side of that horse down. Okay, so it looks like that, but without walking and stopping and all that. All right, so we're going to ask our horse to lope. Actually, her right side's a little bit faster, so let's work on that. All right, so ask the horse to lope. Now my right rein is my nose rein, so my right rein's going to come up and it's going to hold, right? My left rein's going to pull until I feel her slow down, and then I'm going to release. Now, if it's really fast, right? Like if it's like ridiculous fast and you're just trying to make a big change. Like bring her in, soften this nose to the right, pull on this left rein until you make her really slow down, really go to the right, then release, then lope off. Right rein, hold the nose, left rein, pull the left side of that body back, push it to the right, wait till it's soft, release, lope off. And you want to lope off on a loose rein. If that's too hard for you, right, then you can also just, like as soon as you're here, then go ahead and do the draw, make her go 90 degrees and cut across this circle. All right, and then come up, cut across this circle, lope. If it's fast, cut across, get back on my circle. So I'm just using that draw, keeping my hand here, loose rein, yes, come across, draw, go all the way across my circle, get back on my circle. Because anytime that I cut that 90 degree and cut a short turn, I'm going to slow her down. So those are 4 exercises that help. Your biggest thing is that you have to change. You can't keep holding, right? You have to correct. And it means that you're not going to lope that much the first probably 3 to 8 sessions of riding. And you're just going to have to give up on the fact that today is going to be a loping day where I have fun. You're going to go, okay, I'm going to give it 8 sessions of just work. And I might only get up to loping 3 strides before I'm having a corrector again. But pretty soon, all of a sudden, it's 4 strides, then 10 strides, then 20 strides, then 50 strides. And then all of a sudden, you're like, man, I never really have to correct her anymore. And that's where you want to get to. Okay. All right. So the next question was, how do I go from a lope to an extended trot transition? And then what is the body position? So, loping, right? Like, so your pelvis is what tells your horse how fast to go. When it's relaxed and it's in neutral, that means stop, right? When I'm thinking forward, I open up my hip flexors and I ride forward, right? The faster that I ride, the more that I put energy in here, that's the faster I'm going, right? Now, a lope is a sit, but an extended trot is an up, right? So that's your body position. You just go from a sit to a posting, deal, but you got to do it in tune with them. All right, so the easiest exercise for this is I'm going to ask the horse to lope, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I call the hum to slow down transition. So I'm going to be loping around, and then I'm going to start humming, which I'm not going to hum because I have to talk, but I'll start humming, and I'll pick up this rein, and I'll push that shoulder, and I'll keep pushing that shoulder until it's a speed I want. Push the shoulder, push, and here I can get my seat into posting that trot, keep with that shoulder. Then once I have the nose soft, the shoulder soft, and that she's in the speed that I want, that is when I release. So I have to get all 3 things. All right, so then I'll go back up to the lope. And I'm gonna transition up the same way. I'm gonna move that shoulder, soften that nose, move that shoulder, then sit down, then ask for the lope. Then be loping. Pick up my right rein, take the nose to the right. Pick up my left rein, take the shoulder to the left, and then start posting, right? Push for that extended. Come on, get going. Get going right there, and then release. So then, once you do that enough times with the hum, right? So I obviously didn't hum, but I'm going to show you it at the hum. Right? So here, ready, lope. So I would be loping. Now then immediately, if she comes back to the trot, put my hand down and start pushing. Trot, that extended trot. And then I'll start going. Sit down, ask her to lope. Loping. And push, 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 push. Push my seat, push my seat. So you just got to be quick about, like, because you have to sit, like, you're at that lope. And when you hum, it relaxes your seat. That's what makes them slow down, right? When you relax your seat, you don't want to go to a slow trot. So you're gonna feel that slow and then immediately push, 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 right? But if you do that enough on a circle and you do that enough, like, getting enough of those transitions, what'll end up happening is you're on your straightaway, you're in your ranch class, and you like just barely even think about slowing down. Your horse is going to come right back to you, but you'll stay posting. So that's kind of the key to that. So the other question was, how do you introduce horses to cows? Well, I can tell you how you should not do it. Don't do it over a fence, right? If there is a fence between you and your cows, you will instill fear, right? How you get rid of fear is showing horses that cows are afraid of them, right? So go in with the cows. Now, ideally, you would want to be with another horse that actually is brave. It already knows how to push cows, that knows what they're doing. If you don't have that, and you just have a couple of horses that have never been introduced, then get on the ground, right? Because what you want to do is you want to tell them, hey, we scare them. So if I'm on the ground, right, I can start going, hey cow, and I can move the cow because I'll be brave enough to walk into them, right? And I can move the cow, the horse will follow me. Pretty soon, I start just it's called tracking a cow. I'm just going to kind of push and track that cow. I don't care what she's doing. Just track that cow. But all of a sudden, she'll start coming up and she'll start wanting to smell it. And then all of a sudden, you'll start seeing her kind of pin her ears back. And she's going to be like, ooh, this is kind of fun. That's when you get on, right? And you start tracking them. Now, in the beginning of introducing them, the cows might not move because the horse isn't really pushing into them. So make sure that you're like, hey cow, hey cow, hey cow. And as soon as you see that cow take a step, then ask your horse to take a step, right? What people try to do is they try to make their horse take that step first. And it's too hard. And that's when they get into the fight and they get into that big scary thing. So if you or something else can move that cow and then you move with the cow, again, really, it only takes about 5-10 minutes. But horses will quickly learn that they scare cows. And then I haven't seen a horse that doesn't end up just loving it and wanting to eat the bejesus out of a cow. So if you do it that way, that right away we chase cows, we push cows, cows run away from us, horses love it. If you are interested in any of those online programs, there's one for the ground, there's one for emotions, there's one for direction and speed, there's one for transitions and one for maneuvers, right? There's 5 different levels. They all do, if you start with the ground, I'm telling you, it gets easier and easier and you just will fly through the program. Do you have to do everything that's on each of the program? No, but it is set up in a lesson format. So it tells you what to do every day, how long to do it, if you have to break it up or whatever. You don't have to get it done in a certain amount of periods. Some people have an hour a day to work. Some people have 20 minutes. Some people have 4 hours once a week. So, it's set up to where you can read through it and figure out what you need. what you can do, but it really is the best thing that I've done to help people and to set up a way for you guys to be successful. There is also a second tier to that you can buy into. It's called the guidance deal, where we do Zoom calls and we you get private lessons with it. So you do like a FaceTime call. You set me up on your arena fence or whatever. I talk to you through some airbuds and I help you through your lesson. So please, if you're at all interested, get involved as soon as possible because we all just started and it's about I'm like 3 weeks ahead of everybody, but it's really actually been kind of cool for even me and my horses. So I hope you'll join us.